Hello everyone and welcome back to Higurashi Onikakushi. Uh, this is going to be a very good chapter. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. I also just got back from the cinema from watching the finale for the Amazing Digital Circus, so I'm all sorts of messed up. So, but I'm going to try my best today. So yeah. Anyway, I'm very excited. Today's been great for me. Anyway, yeah, last time we talked to Takano and Tomitake about the whole curse of Oyashiro-sama, and we're gonna learn more about that as we go. So I got completely wrapped up because I'm so excited that I forgot to tell you what happened last time. Anyway, good morning. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right. Keiichi-kun, thank you very much for Mr. Bear. I'm glad you liked it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately my foot stepped right into it. My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Clomp, 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 whip, whiff. Wah! Keiichi-san flicked my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Saying that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on in disbelief. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Keiichi-kun? You didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? Slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class. You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us to the teacher that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed up till the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then, this time of year you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. Thought it was the usual stuff. So I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed the different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am." What she'd said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, "Don't spout stupid shit you think is funny." And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game. It seemed that Renner didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are, the person who can match the murderer, weapon and the scene of the crime wins. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons and locations. You could see the names Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There were plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes and poison. The locations were pretty nice too, like the living room, the study and the courtyard. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see, so the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest of you can figure it out by playing. So Mion. What's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty? You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were slightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon and the scene of the murder have been taken out, so that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then, I'll go first since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion Knife Study. Pick one suspect, weapon and murder scene and ask the other players. If you have any of those cards, then you must say I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 2 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, Knife and Study. That means Mion and Knife and Study are all in the clear. Got to jot that down. Then I'll go Renner, Axe, Lounge. Only 2 people said they had one. So it means out of Renner, Axe and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime? No, wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead. Wait just a little. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's going to be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Mion just now raises her hand. The murderer is Rika-chan in the infirmary with the poison. Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. I was right. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Pika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rena and I were left out in the cold though. How did you do, Keiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry. I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off to buy something together as a couple. We ended up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Manual. You can tell from Keiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game. What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round. My, that sounds just wonderful. Shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaming information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could think to stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out a simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka! Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Me-chan, that's gross. I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over towards me. Keiichi-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. Can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one. So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty? Hey, don't accept defeat already. I thought we'd win this. Both of us. But how can we? I brought my lips up to Rena's ear. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Silly. Is that allowed? Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory. Yeah, I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was quite rudimentary one. Jeez. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we'd need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, we'll start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Rena was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. And let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement, sorry. Oh, sorry, then what should we do? Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. Guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If me or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later, because both Rena and I would start winning over and over again. Both Rena and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the loser by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. Maiburo-kun, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit... You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They have been waiting. Please hurry. Right before my big match was pretty bad timing to have a visitor. The very fact that someone was here to see me was strange enough to pique my interest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast to the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Are you Maiburo-san? Keiichi Maiburo-san? There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, that this was, without a doubt, the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, it seemed I was fated to meet middle-aged men. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know. He was asking me to get in his car with him? I'm not going to buy it. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it up all the way. So what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the heck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from the expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maiburo-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well. Huh? This is Tomitake-san? There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomitake-san last night. I didn't know what her name was. I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? The night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed to be pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail was very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Something happened to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he talking about Tomitaki-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Couldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. For a long pause, he finally spoke again. "You've moved here just recently. Isn't that right, my Boroka-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro-sama?" My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all? If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomitaki-san told me, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that always happen the day of the Watanagashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomitaki-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think that. I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Maibara-san, do you believe in curses? In the curse? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. My mind went blank. Huh? What happened to Tomitaki-san? It seemed that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maibara-san? Implications... Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi. Meaning, this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again... The death of Jiro Tomitake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? Didn't want to understand why. Please, tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. Might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope, on the shoulder around there. There were a few street lights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitaki-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitaki-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. Thought it was a hit and run at first. But when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? You mean his neck was clawed through? From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was suicide. Tomitake-san, whatever was going through his mind, tore open his own throat, as hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through the skin until he started to bleed, and even then, Tomitake-san didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But it was a suicide? I'd never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. This wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died, in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomitake-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, sorry, I'm so bad with this word. Epilation, and so on. We concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. It was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing their own throat out. Wounds on his hand matched the discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There were traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails with it. Tomitake-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomitake-san. There is a high probability Tomitake-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomitake-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died. The presumed time of death was between 9 PM and 11 PM, meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomitake-san at the festival. Everyone signed Tomitake-san's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that, oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomitake-san was short. But we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiura-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake-san, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me. If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tomitake died from Oyashiura-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyashiura-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oyashiura-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san had had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. This is how it must be. That's how this must be, my Buro-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomitake-san nor I believed in curses, but with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomitake-san's death marking the 5th year, which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There's no way that Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear anything that draws your attention, then that is enough. I see or hear. He was talking in the future tense? Things or people or rumours. Anything is fine. I don't care if they are unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. I took it, and whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I need to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across my face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well. Especially from Sonozaki-san and Furude-san. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? With my friend's name brought up so abruptly, and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him. He didn't seem to be especially offended. I wouldn't mind telling you. It may just upset you. Say it. He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There's a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of the village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because the incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa? First, it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager that supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die one after the other for mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So, the victims after that. What about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of the villagers who harboured ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? Did she die because she was the wife of the brother of a supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake-san? He's not affiliated with the Dam Project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the Dam Project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means not just enemies of the village anymore, just being an outsider could be reason enough. Then you're saying that next year's victim will be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be... my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? Still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the next victims, my family, was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? Can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests, quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offences on her record because of the protests. Knew Mion had fought. It was the first time I'd heard of her family leading the protests though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with the string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. It's a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. I don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That's exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, he gave a very bitter expression. It seems that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe in it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean by how about that? How should I know? The reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. He had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers would have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything was as the man had wanted. As insipid as it was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand, I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Oishi from the Okinomiya police station? You can call me Kuro-chan if you want. No, Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. We've taken up too much time. Friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click, and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad at the thought as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maibura-san. It would help to prove that the village is not involved after all. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Maibura-kun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think there was the possibility of a village conspiracy? Worse still, there's also a chance that Mion was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Satoku, or Riki-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomitake-san? Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here somewhere in Hinamezawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's me-chan, the perpetrator. Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice. With the rope in the lounge. Wahahaha. Nope. No. Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow. Ah. Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behaviour? That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't that pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing in last place? Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 point. How the heck? The score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing? This is the final match to decide the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena. Yeah, right. Let's let Rena do the penalty by herself. You made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know? Sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards. I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it. The murderer is me, with the poison at the entrance. Is it? My Rena. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh. Rena's correct. Oh ho 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 ho. Then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best. Yeah, let's do our best. Haha. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. And dead last are Keiichi Maibura and Rena Ryugu. Everyone applauded, and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then. I ranked first, so I decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty. What will she make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. Sodman's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here. A lot? Damn it. What is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this? Looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. He was certain she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable, thanks. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. There we go. Pretty scary chapter. Yeah, the curse is ongoing. And there are 2 new tips. Alright. Sorry for that abrupt cut there. So my throat gave out and I started coughing really crazily. So I've been clearly reading too much. So I'm gonna probably take a break for a few days from reading this. Anyway, we have these tips to read. I feel fine right now, so don't worry about it. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it, you're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's not quite on the same level as when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood after all. Some of Tomitake's fingernails had been pulled out. Fingernails actually rip off surprisingly easily, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises on Tomitake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxicology reports, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon? They only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be that they took the plank he was fighting back with. In any case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. Ha ha ha. That's true. Tomitake-san's pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around frantically, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed? This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit them at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit, if anything, that's your specialty. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, is fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators. If any drunk and disorderly group of more than 4 are suspicious, a group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Oishi-san, the chief is calling you. Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Right, that's interesting. So we know a little bit more about the murder. We have one more tip right now. Jiro Tomitake, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomitake, pen name. Travels via a folding bike, no license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 PM by police, location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence. From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line, no individual matching the name Jiro Tomitake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contact magazines regarding Jiro Tomitake. Mio Takano, missing. Nurse at Irie Clinic. Became close to Tomitake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District XXX. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted, or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy. Need to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Alright, so that pretty much covers everything. Yeah. I'm not gonna say too much right now, my throat's killing me, so I'm just gonna hold off on that. But I hope you enjoyed this chapter. It's like really, really good. And it's only gonna get better from here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.